And this is a very, very significant development, not just for Ecuador, but for the world at large, because the money system that we are enslaved in is distorted at its root. It is a money system where how money comes into existence is that it's loaned into existence by the Federal Reserve, which is a private company. And in almost every country in the world, money is loaned into existence. And it's a long, complicated story, but basically what comes of that is there's always less money in circulation than there is in debt to the entities that issue money. So it puts the entire world community in constant growing debt because that debt carries interest with it. And we have to grow the economy in order to service the debt, or the whole system collapses. And many economists, money experts would say that's what's happening right now, that money system is bankrupt because we can't continue to grow. It's not appropriate, it's unsustainable, it cannot last, and the ecosystems on which all life depends, on which the entire economy depends, cannot tolerate that, and it's not sustainable. Since 1987, we have been in ecological overshoot. What that means, and that's as a whole world, what that means is we're taking more resources from the earth than she can regenerate. That's using our ecological credit card, which we really don't have and we can't ever pay back. And everyone who's been paying attention to that ecological credit card being now being in use, taking more resources than the earth can regenerate, knew that at some point it would show up in the economy and the economy itself would begin to crash. That's happening now, 22 years later. And the source of this financial crisis, you could say, is terrible banking practices, yes. Horrible mortgage practices, yes. Greed on Wall Street, yes. A consumer society that's lost its soul, yes. People stopping saving and going into massive credit, yes. But even underneath that is the ecological debt that we're living in now. And the economy is based on the ecology, and that's really where we need to do some serious ecological, spiritual work. And a new money system that complements a money system that's based in debt, that doesn't generate debt, that where money comes into existence through transaction, is a new hope in many parts of the world, and could be one of the most beautiful things that comes out of the financial crisis, because it will foster community, it will foster compassion, it will foster exchange and caring for one another, and it could even absolutely eliminate poverty. So the financial crisis for me, although difficult, although painful, although totally unfair, some of the people who deserve the least in having the financial crisis hit them, losing their jobs when they worked at Ford Motor Company for 50 years, are being really hurt by this, and I want to acknowledge that. At the same time, I think it's a huge purification, a gigantic cleansing. You could say a great recess from excess, long enough for us to reclaim our soul and our new, hopefully, deeper and more soulful and more true relationship with one another, with the resources of the earth, and with money itself.
In our next segment, we learn about the important work of Goldman Environmental Prize recipient Syeda Rizwana Hasan, a leading environmental attorney in Bangladesh, who is working to limit the impact of that country's exploitive and environmentally devastating ship-breaking industry, which has resulted in the toxic contamination of coastal waters and serious health hazards for the more than 20,000 workers in that industry. To address these issues, Syeda spearheaded a legal battle which resulted in increased governmental regulations and a heightened public awareness of the dangers of shipbreaking.
Bangladesh is a land of rivers tucked into a notch of the Indian subcontinent. Its delta spreads southward into the Bay of Bengal like a great wide fan. Yet with few natural resources of its own, Bangladesh has had to resort to some drastic measures. In the coastal city of Chittagong, a once thriving fishing community has been eclipsed by the practice of shipbreaking and its related commerce.
When the developed countries decide not to run their ships anymore, these end-of-life vessels are sold to countries like ours, who wreck these ships and get the iron and the other equipment and sell them in the open market.
Rizwana Hasan practices law. Her organization is the Bangladesh Environmental Lawyers Association, or BELA. She, along with 60 other attorneys, work in offices around the country on various environmental cases, including shipbreaking. Decommissioned vessels, many weighing up to 40,000 tons and contaminated with toxic materials, are run aground on the beaches of Chittagong. Here, men and boys toil in their shadows. The people live and die among the salvage.
I would define shipbreaking as a trade of hazardous waste in disguise. Since the ships, when they come to Bangladesh, are not pre-cleaned, they are directly brought to our beaches. And all the toxics run directly into the coastal area.
This industry is extremely hazardous as an industry for its workers. People are there without any protection, and there's no laws pertaining to them or to the environment. And yet, it's been going on for decades.
We are yet to know the long-term effects of the shipbreaking on our environment, ecology, and lives. Many old ships still have asbestos and other toxic elements.
Once every month is minimum that we hear that somebody has died in a shipbreaking yard, and that is why we are filing cases whenever we think violations are not being redressed. Her name is Nasima. Her husband received injury from the fall of a heavy iron plate on his chest, and he died instantly. His name is Muhammad Amir Ali. He was cutting some blocks and one part fell on him, and now he is not in a position to undertake any manual labor. This is certainly a violation of fundamental rights of every citizen of Bangladesh. This is polluting the coastal environment, affecting the fishermen, killing so many laborers. So on that ground, we move against this very hazardous operation of the industry.
In a landmark legal case in 2006, Rizwana and Bela successfully petitioned Bangladesh's Supreme Court to prevent two ships, the SS Norway and Alpha ship, which contained toxic materials, from entering the Chittagong shipbreaking yard. On the heels of this major victory, in March 2009, the court made an unprecedented ruling to close no fewer than 36 shipbreaking yards.
Rizwana is a very unique person. The governments also respect her because she's not just saying that this is the problem, but she's also addressing that this is how we can work together to resolve it.
Rizwana and her organization have redoubled their efforts as environmental degradation and the physical danger to the shipbreaking workers continues. Her success with shipbreaking law is expected to influence similar practices beyond Bangladesh to India, Vietnam, and the Philippines.
I will try to do whatever changes I can to see that the image of Bangladesh is portrayed in the outer world as a country that can really make positive things happen. Oh, almost there, almost there.
For outstanding environmental achievement in Asia, the 2009 Goldman Environmental Prize is awarded to Syeda Rizwana Hasan, Dhaka, Bangladesh.